Thanks for joining us. It was a gloomy day on AU's campus as many feared the worst for Ashland University due to recent economic hardships. President Frederick Finks held an all-institutional meeting with the university's faculty and staff at 8 a.m. in Hugo Young Theater to discuss the next plan of action. According to Finks, the university is suffering from a deficit of almost $30 million. Finks stated this deficit is caused from a previous administration's spending habits, as well as the continuing downward spin of the economy. In order to keep the university running, administrators are calling for a reduction in budget line items. A total of 48 full-time non-academic jobs were cut from the university. Finks made it clear to individuals that if their jobs were cut, the university would still grant them 4 weeks' pay and would assist them in any way possible in helping them find employment. The university is also asking that faculty members volunteer for pay reductions. This would require the salary to decrease by 1.92%. They would also be required to take 5 days off with no pay and to reduce their contract from a 12-month plan to a 9 or 10-month contract. Finks and members of his cabinet are still finalizing the details of this plan.
Every organization institution. That when times are good, positions are added, and we become comfortable with the way we do things, and self-examination doesn't come easy. Through the years, things began to change, positions began to change as well, but rarely, if ever, are anything eliminated. We continue to do things as we've always done them before. I challenged our cabinet and leadership to look at this crisis as an opportunity to reorganize and streamline various operations within the university. While today I'm not able to discuss the specifics of that reorganization because we want to give opportunity today to discuss with the individuals affected, we will be releasing within this next week how the university will be reorganized. I want you to be assured of this, that no part of the non-academic side of the House was spared. The reorganization has downsized the President's cabinet. Upper level, mid-level, low-level administrators will be affected. Outreach and off-site programs and staff in all areas of the Ashland University's operation will be impacted. From that point on, we began looking at all of our options.
For the first
over
time
$1,005,000.
Our football team has earned back-to-back playoff invitations. To make things more exciting, the Eagles will be hosting their first playoff game in the program's history. Ashland, which seeded 4th in the region, will host the 5th-seeded Minnesota State on our home turf on Saturday, November 15th at 12 p.m. Be a part of AU history and cheer on the Eagles as we host our first playoff game.
Over the past few years, many college campuses across the country have seen an outbreak in sexual assault cases. In an attempt to prevent this from becoming an issue on AU's campus, the Delta Zeta sorority hosted a dating game show to make the student body aware of safe dating practices. The event was titled Singled Out and was a spin-off of the MTV hit show, which was popular in the 90s. Members of the audience got a chance to go on stage and be picked for a date by one of the daters, Corey Funk or Jessica Ina. Mystery daters were also called on stage to get their chance to find true love. One even singing to the girl who won his date. All proceeds from this event were donated to the Delta Zeta Foundation.
Opening tonight, the Ashland University Department of Theater will be presenting Beth Henley's Tony Award-winning play, Crimes of the Heart. Directed by Dr. Teresa Durbin Ames, the story follows the McGrath sisters in Hazelhurst, Mississippi as they come together to learn the fate of the youngest sister, Babe, who has just shot her senator husband. The cast features Mary Allison, Nicole Hale, and Thea Gravick. The show will run November 13th, 14th, 15th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd at 7:30 p.m. and November 23rd at 2 p.m. in the Studio Theater, with a talkback session after the November 21st performance.
Attention female students, the Department of Residence Life is now looking for female individuals to assume mid-year resident assistant positions. The RA positions would last for the spring semester of 2009. There are 3 positions newly opened. 2 are located in Amstutz Hall, while the other is potentially located in Clayton. All applications are due by Monday, November 17th at 5 p.m. If you have any questions or would like to receive more information, please contact Kat Galetka at cgeletka@ashland.edu. Up next, a 56-year-old woman has given birth to triplets, and an issue voted yes by Ohioans in last week's election is already causing problems for local credit businesses. Learn more when we return. It's all coming up next on Ashland Tonight News.
Our children want to know everything about the world around them. And yet sometimes what they discover makes them feel vulnerable and insecure. In times like these, they need the comfort of an adult, the honesty of parents, and playtime to help them deal with their feelings and fears. Time that will literally heal their hearts. The gift of imagination allows children to see a better world. Playtime allows them a chance to practice creating it. Don't underestimate the power of play.
I am the port in the storm.
I am the line in the sand.
Roger that, everything looks good. I am the rescuer in the dark. It's okay, I got you. I am the enforcer of the seas.
We are the defenders of the homeland. We are the shield of freedom. We are the United States Coast Guard.
Heed your country's call. Join the Coast Guard or Coast Guard Reserve, the shield of freedom.
General Motors announced on Monday that they will now have to lay off a total of 1,900 jobs. These jobs include positions from across the U.S., include ones located in the GM plant in Ontario. The plant announced a $2.5 billion third quarter loss on Friday and say they may run out of money completely before 2008 has come to an end. There is no word yet how much this cut will affect Mansfield.
A small plane originally in flight from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, made an unexpected fall, crashing into a field in Mansfield off of Rocky Road on Wednesday. The pilot, 73-year-old Carl Morgan, said he has never had any flight problems in his 52 years of flying experience. The crash was caused when the cockpit canopy came loose on his one-seat experimental aircraft. The small plane had just taken off from the Mansfield-Lam Airport, where he brings the plane for its annual inspections. Although animals in the nearby fields were spooked from the crash, fortunately no one was injured.
On Election Day, Ohio voters approved Issue 5. However, this issue is now proving that it will have devastating consequences on short-term loan companies in Ohio. This issue caps interest rates on payday loans at 28%, limits short-term loans to a $500 maximum, and adds numerous other restrictions. The approval of this issue will force one company, Ashland, to close 43 of their approximately 140 stores in Ohio, which will in turn result in the loss of about 150 jobs.
Jackie Dallenberg, a Worcester woman, gave birth to her own grandchildren, triplets, at the age of 56. Jackie had to act as a surrogate mother by means of in vitro fertilization and her daughter's implanted embryos to help her daughter have children. The triplets were born by cesarean section on October 11th and were more than 2 months premature. Daughter Kim Casano says that the baby girls are doing well in hospital and are expected to go home soon. Some parts of our area saw their first snowfall this weekend, but it is the cold weather here to stay. Stay tuned for your weather updates.
When you ask your child what they did in school today, do they tell you what happened here? How about there? Do you ask them questions about who they had lunch with or who they sat next to on the bus? Having a more specific conversation with your child may be the key to bully prevention. Bullying can affect a lot of people in a lot of different ways. Find out how you can help by calling for free information. Make time to listen. Take time to talk about bullying.
These are poor coal mining communities where there's no jobs and no health care. Last year we had 7,000 people, so we know it's needed. Instead of being stationary in one clinic, we bring this clinic to 8 communities people appreciate so much that we're able to be there with them in a moment of crisis. And that is a gift which keeps me on the road and keeps me going.
It was sad. It was like...
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Does peace really have a chance within our lifetime? At Rotary, we believe it does. We've created programs at universities around the world, dedicated solely to teaching peace to a new generation. There's a new symbol for peace. Rotary.
We have had quite the roller coaster with our weather, and temperatures are getting ready for their big dip. Here's a look at our 3-day forecast. Friday, the high is 59 with a low of 44 with a chance of PM showers. Saturday, there is a chance of rain and wind with a high of 48 and a low of 31. Sunday, there is a high of 36 and a low of 29 with a chance of a few snow showers. Well, that's all I have for your local weather updates. Let's toss it over to Greg for the latest in AU sports.
Thanks, Shane. Greg Smith. Now it's time to get a look at your Ashland University sports. On Saturday, the Eagle football team came home for their final regular season game versus the Oilers of Findlay. Findlay struck early and often under the direction of true freshman quarterback Billy Noonan, and the Oilers went into the half leading the Eagles 28-14. AU would not buckle under the pressure, however, and scored 2 quick touchdowns to tie the game at 28. With the score tied at 38 late in the fourth quarter, freshman Carlin Isles returned a kickoff 85 yards to give AU the lead. Linebacker Matt Stoynoff would then intercept Billy Noonan's pass with under a minute to go to steal the victory for the Eagles. Quarterback Billy Cundiff led the charge once again, going 27 of 36 for 256 yards and 3 touchdowns. 2 of those touchdowns were hauled in by tight end Frank Cardone, and wide receiver Nick Malenko added 9 receptions. True freshman running back Damaris McCoy also had a solid game, rushing for 88 yards on 17 carries and 2 touchdowns. The AU defense made many big plays on Saturday, including 3 interceptions and a fumble recovery. Linebacker Marcus Council led that charge with one of those interceptions, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. With this win, the Eagles clinched their 2nd straight berth in the NCAA Division II playoffs and will host the Minnesota State University Mavericks at Community Stadium this Saturday at noon. Make sure you go out and support the Eagles. The AU men and women's swim teams took on Grand Valley State this past weekend to open their GLIAC schedule. The men took down the Lakers 160.5 to 137.5. The women could not hold off the Lady Lakers and lost 175.5 to 115.5. The swim teams will face off versus the Greyhounds of Indianapolis this Saturday. And finally, the AU men's basketball team got their exhibition season underway against the Falcons of Bowling Green State University. The Eagles fell to BG, however, 87-63. That's all we have for yet another busy week in Ashland sports. Be sure to head out to all the Ashland University sporting events this upcoming week. But if you can't make it to the game, come check it out back here on TV too. Up next is Danny Mackin with your health report. Stay tuned.
Hey, honey. You okay?
Jill's pregnant.
Our Jill?
Our Jill. I've been thinking, though, nothing really has to change because when the baby comes, I'll help her. We'll help her, right?
She's just a kid.
We never thought it would happen to us. We didn't know how to best help her through the tough decisions she'd have to make. We found that help. And not just for her, but for us too.
Where there's help, there's hope.
Big dreams and good grades aren't enough to get into college. There are actual steps you need to take. Finding someone who can help is the first and most important. For the next steps, go to knowhowtogo.org.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Danny Mackin, and I'm here with this week's TV2 Health Report. Every year, around 90 million people in the United States search online for information on specific diseases. That is why Google has created a new tool called Flu Trends that estimates the level of flu in each state in the United States in nearly real time. Google and the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention compared their data and found that there was a close relationship between the number of people searching for flu-related information and the number of people who actually had flu symptoms. The Google data could be used as as an early signal for flu activity, which will give the CDC time to alert hospitals, clinics, and doctors so they can stock up on tests and drugs. Flu Trend is free to all, and it can be viewed on the internet. Stanford University researchers found that running not only adds years to your life, but also delays the onset of disabilities when you are older. After 21 years of study, the results showed that disabilities appeared 12 to 16 years later in the runners group versus the non-runners. Running makes your bones, tendons, and muscles stronger, and they also help to reduce the risk of heart disease. Researchers say that 30 minutes of daily exercise will improve your quality of life, prevent diseases, and help you live longer. So make sure you grab your tennis shoes and go out to the gym to exercise, especially with this Thanksgiving food and all coming up. That's it with today's health report. Let's toss it over to Marina with this week's latest in Hollywood. Marina?
Thanks, Danny. I'm Marina Santos, and let's take a look at this week's edition of TV2 Entertainment. A woman who once tried out for American Idol was found dead outside of Paula Abdul's home earlier this week. Tuesday night, police discovered the body of 30-year-old Paula Goodspeed dead of an apparent suicide. Investigators found prescription drugs along with Abdul's CDs and a picture of the pop singer in the car where she was discovered. Goodspeed auditioned for American Idol in 2005 by singing Tina Turner's hit Proud Mary, but the judge gave her bad reviews. Michael Jackson has transferred the deed of Neverland Ranch to a company that he partially owns. The singer filed a grant deed that makes the new owner an entity called Sycamore Valley Ranch Company. The Sycamore Valley Ranch Company is a joint venture between Jackson and an officially of Colony Capital LLC, which owns several properties in Las Vegas. Before Jackson turned the property into a miniature amusement park in 1998, the property was called Sycamore Valley Ranch. The 42nd Annual Country Music Association Awards were held last night. The awards were hosted by Carrie Underwood and Brad Paisley. Sugar Land collected the second consecutive CMA Award for Vocal Duo of the Year. Rascal Flatts won Vocal Group of the Year, and George Strait, who picked up his 20th and 21st CMA, winning both Song and Album of the Year with I Saw God Today from the album Troubadour. The CMAs featured 21 performers altogether, including solo numbers from Keith Urban and Brad Paisley. That's it for this week's Entertainment Report. I'm Marina Santos, and TV2 will be back after the break.
Do you think you'd notice if you were missing half of your money, or half your friends, your better half, your half and half? What if you were missing half of your kidney function? You'd think you'd notice, but you could have chronic kidney disease right now and not even know it. According to the National Kidney Foundation, 20 million people have chronic kidney disease, and 20 million more may be at risk and not even know it. Chronic kidney disease is a growing epidemic. Anyone with high blood pressure, diabetes, or a family history of chronic kidney disease is at risk. Certain ethnic groups are at an even higher risk. Early diagnosis and treatment of this disease and its complications are vitally important. To get the whole story on chronic kidney disease, talk to your doctor and visit the National Kidney Foundation at kidney.org or call 1-800-622-9010 for a free brochure. Because when it comes to chronic kidney disease, you might not know the half of it. No matter what type of home renovation you're planning, put this at the top of your to-do list. Make sure your family is up to date on the tetanus vaccine, because after 10 years, none of you are protected against tetanus and another potentially fatal disease, diphtheria. A minor injury, such as a cut or a scrape, can put you at risk for a tetanus infection. And while safety gear offers some protection, an up-to-date vaccination called the TD booster is your best insurance against tetanus. If it's been more than 10 years since your last booster, then it's not just your house that's out of date, it's you. If it's been 10, do it again. Talk to your healthcare provider to find out if it's time for a TD booster or visit nfid.org.
Welcome back to Ashland Tonight News.
For all you Cavs fans out there, make sure to tune into the game tonight to watch the AU dance team and cheerleaders perform at the halftime show. The game begins at 8 p.m.
Also, this week is the end for sophomore registration. Next Tuesday begins registration for all freshmen. So, if you have not scheduled your classes yet, make sure to meet with your professor and do so before classes are closed. So, what is everybody up to this weekend?
Personally, I'm going to be going to the football game and then probably be going home. Have a wake to attend, but, you know, I hope that the Ashland Eagles do well this weekend.
Go team.
Well, I'm going to the free movie tonight at the Ashland Movie Theater.
What are you planning on seeing?
I have no idea because they never say what movie it's going to be on, so.
It's a surprise.
I know.
I'm having a senior music recital on Sunday at 4 if anyone would like to come.
Oh, do you want to give us a little tease?
No, that's okay.
Oh.
All right. Well, that about does it for tonight's Ashland Tonight News.
We would just like to thank our TV2 crew, and you, of course, for tuning in. And if you are interested in helping out with Ashland's TV station, you can email us at tv2@ashland.edu.
And don't forget to join us next Tuesday for election night coverage at 9. That's not right. Make sure you tune in next week at 4:30 for another edition of Ashland Tonight News.
Thanks for joining us.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
La da dee da da do.
That was funny.